Quick summary of what's been happening here. Basically gone into a two-way pod situation because my 3-inch crapped out of me when I accidentally sent it 40 dB too much level. So, and then I was thinking, like I explained, I just upped the high pass on the 6-inch to include more of the 3 inches range, like so. I did all the proper calibration and set the tweeter right and all that sort of shit. And everything was going along swimmingly, but I was getting way too much energy in this, not the right track for that. Way too much energy up here in this driver. And I don't believe it was the driver's limit. It was the fact that they're enclosed. It was more of an amp limit, and I was trying to send too much high energy. This is only some of the story. There's actually a correction for my off-axis, which dips it up like another 8-10 dB. And so I was getting a screeching sound as approaching 0 dB on the DAC, minus 0.001 dBFS on the DAC. And it wasn't a low frequency problem, so I chucked a low shelf higher up and I was still getting that screech on the highest note. So I was getting like 80-90% of my usual performance, but in that last 5-10% getting the screeching sound. So it wasn't the low frequency, and I confirmed on this spectrum graph it was the high frequency. This was the only thing hitting the limits of the DAC amp. It's definitely not the speaker, so it's just the enclosure and the amp level and the amount I had to feed the DAC to get there. And that was my strongest DAC because I've got a special 2-channel out, which is like 24 dB of gain or something like that. Where would he be? He'd be under here. Yeah. It's the first 2 channels. I can stick 24 dB of gain in just the DAC stage, whereas most of them are like maybe it's a plus 10 or something like that. So yeah, giving the DAC its full voltage probably limit and the amount of gain the amp was giving. So anyway, I ducked that down. I thought, well, that solves my screeching problem, but then I have a frequency dip problem. I can't just add it to the tweeters because they were just on my limit. When I get to 99%, I start getting my little break up in the tweeters. So then I just started digging around in my enclosures because the 3-inch had actually failed. I didn't need the 3-inch anymore. And as you can see, I've just put my finger into the dome just to get it out of the way. I moved some of this pad here. There's a bit more pad here, so I cut a big V shape in the pad, and I also took out, well, that was the apertures of the 3-inch. So I had this aperture, it was shoved in there. You might see from other photos. So the tweeter's still got his little aperture, but this was stuffed right up here against the 3-inch, making the 3-inch aperture. But it was also blocking this upward energy of the 6-inch. So sure enough, I took out that one little bit, and it almost equaled this exact amount of frequency reduction that I was trying to target. I haven't officially tuned it yet, but it's almost, to my ears, that bit of cotton equals that amount of absorption. So yeah, take the absorption out, the energy of the speaker comes out. So we're still on happy days, and we can hit our 95% loudness that we enjoy. And I'm still yet to do the final confirmation on the tuning of that dip, whether it still needs more or less. Yeah, so probably won't crap on too much more. And see how we go.